Specsavers is proud to support the Green Hour. Let's work together in preserving the planet.
We've got our third guest on our 173rd episode talking about the incredible global clean tech innovation program. We met Sizwe Manamata just before the break. He's the 2015 winner in the Innovation for Social Impact category. And we're joined on the line now by the founder and CEO of Twerly Streetlights and one of the 2014 finalists here in South Africa. Local boy Nikolas Jankovich joins us on the line. Nicholas, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Gareth, and morning to your listeners.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from and where you're based these days? What keeps you busy?
I'm Gareth, originally from Joburg. Landed up in Cape Town for a long while I set up my investments company. And then decided to change direction completely and move into the green space, which seems to have, in a sense, paid off.
Yes.
And was very, very fortunate to meet up with some really bright minds at NMMU who developed and designed a vertical axis wind turbine and put together a Twerly Streetlight. So, that's been sort of a summarized journey.
Wow, that's where are you based now?
I'm based at the Industrial Development Zone in East London. That's where we have our office, and we have an outsourced manufacturing model. So rather than reinventing a manufacturing concern, we've gone out and found people that have all of the tools and equipment to make or build what we need built. And we've got our factory out in King Williamstown, and various parts and supplies come from various parts of the country.
Okay, and give us a bit of if you could paint a picture for us of a Twerly street light. What does it look like?
Okay, well, if you could visualize a normal street light, basically what it is a pole, and it could be anything from a split pole through to a concrete or a cement pole. And it has a light at the end of it, and it's powered generally by Eskom cabling. Our pole is very, very different from that. We don't use any electricity whatsoever on our street light. All of the power is generated either via the sun or the wind. So we harness the sun's energy using a PV panel, and we harness the wind's energy using a vertical axis wind turbine, which was designed and developed at the NMMU by Dr. Russell Phillips.
That's right. So vertical turbine, as in it looks like a bit of like a cooking utensil almost.
It does a little bit, Gareth. Yeah, most people sort of visualize a horizontal turbine, which is the one that you see blowing out in the Karoo, powering a
windmill,
a windmill or whatever. That's horizontal. Vertical is somewhat different. It's a helix shape. So and it's way more efficient. It's silent. It doesn't impact on residential areas. So it's
wonderful.
Quite an innovative technology.
Now, innovation, we've been speaking about it this morning, about the need for more and more innovation really being the hope for South Africa.
Yes.
Talk to us about the challenges of being an inventor and trying to get a new product into the market, into South Africa. How challenging is that?
It's incredibly challenging. There is no other way of putting it. One has to either have very deep pockets or a financial benefactor or funding. You have incredible highs and you have incredible lows, and in the space that we're all operating in at the moment, most entrepreneurs and most innovators are looking more and more towards either government or private sector funding so that they can actually get their product or their innovation to market. So those are some of the financial challenges, and then you've also got to be almost a jack of all trades. You've got to know project management, you've got to know and understand your product and where it's going in the market and take it forward.
Well, the GCIP, I'm sure they certainly assisted in giving you some of the platforms that were needed to get a project like this. Tell us about how that benefited you.
Gareth, the GCIP process is probably the pivotal point in my whole career, really, because having studied various other methodologies and ways to bring a product to the market, the GCIP process really gave me an opportunity to, as I said in one of the quotes that I wrote, was that it's almost like a mini MBA without having to have a degree.
Yes.
So if you're a green tech guy or you're an entrepreneur or you're an innovator and you feel that something could change the way we use water or the way we use the wind or the way we use the sun, the GCIP process is an online process that allows you to interact with overseas mentors who have done this over and over again. They're incredibly bright people. And they put you through a workshop program over a period of time, and at the end of that, if you've done all of the steps, you really come out with a knowledge base way better than any, I believe, Technikon or university can give you in that short period of time. It certainly, it certainly gave us the opportunity to have a look at which direction did we want to take our technology more as opposed to the street light. Because it started off as a street light and now it's turned into a power tower, because we can now power surveillance cameras, we can power recharge batteries, we can
Wonderful.
do a number of things. One of the causes to power houses, unfortunately, that's slightly bigger because the need is bigger. You know, people want microwaves to be run and stoves and things like that, so that's a completely different application. But for sports fields, for university campgrounds, campuses where people are sitting and studying, students are sitting out in quads or in areas where they're chatting with one another. That's really where our application comes in. There's no cabling.
Yeah.
So everything,
Wonderful.
as soon as we put our pole up, it picks up the sun, it charges our batteries. If the wind's blowing, it generates wind energy and charges the generator, or the generator charges the battery, should I say. And you have light, and so far we've never had a single failure, so we're very, very fortunate.
Wonderful. I think there's many people who've got some innovative ideas. We're an innovative bunch of us South Africans. So there seems to be a big gap, though, from the idea really to putting the concept into some sort of practicality. What would you advise? I mean, GCIP will be one of those things that possibly could help, although they require you to be a little bit further down the line. But just to get people going in the right direction, to actually get started, what would you suggest is a good way to get going?
Gareth, the only way to get going is to actually write your concept down. So whether you call that a business plan, which it will ultimately evolve into, or whether or not you just have this concept, this idea, it's been burning in your mind for months or years, you write the concept down, and then if it has IP, which is intellectual property attached to it, it's well advised to go and have a chat to an attorney to secure your IP. So that's an expensive process on its own. But I would strongly recommend that, somebody who has a good novel idea or has an idea that's going to change the way we look at renewable energy is to write that concept down. Then the next phase would be to look at a business plan. And most certainly, whether or not you have either of those two, is to try and get onto the GCIP process, purely and simply because they will guide one through all of those various steps. And they bring in the type of language that one needs to speak when you're getting to the stage where you're going to have to now present that to potential equity partners or people that are going to actually share in making your business work. So that would be certainly the first step. There are many steps between that and actually getting to commercialization.
Yes, of course.
But once you're at that point where you can build your idea or your concept, if you've already built it and you have a prototype and it's working, first prize, even better than waiting to get to that stage where you're going to get asked for help to build it. And then the third phase is to obviously look for commercialization. Where does it fit in the market? And one of the things that I certainly learned from the GCIP process is, rather than finding a product that fits your market, find a market that fits your product.
Excellent.
So you want to actually find something that the market really needs. So, there are a number of innovations out there in the water space, in the wind space, that people have, that they have that idea, that concept, and they know it would work for the market. So rather than doing it the other way around, rather look for the market first and then build your product around that.
Wonderful. Congratulations on the success that you've seen with your innovation, and I'm no doubt by hearing you talking, we're going to see a little bit more coming out of this space as well. So thank you for joining us on the Green Hour, and all the best with the project. Thank you for your time.
Gareth, you're more than welcome, and thank you very much for the time.
Pleasure.
You're listening to Kingfisher FM 103.8 and 107.5.